Okay, I don't have much time. Some bloke named ST promised to imprison me in this temporary room to ride out the full moon and gave me this to record to pass the time. I should be safe since the windows are blocked out. Welcome to Could It Exist in Real Life, where our werewolves are more common than you think. Much like Dracula did for vampires and Frankenstein did for the living dead, the Wolfman popularized the werewolf. However, unlike the other two, this is the only one of the Universal Monster trio that didn't have any source material. That's right, folks. Although werewolf legends have been very well known before this movie was made, the Wolfman was neither, based off a book. It was the first and only the three that were made from scratch. This film also starred Lon Chaney Jr., the son of Lon Chaney Sr., that many movie geeks know as a man with 1,000 faces. Due to his trademark mastery of makeup effects acting, Jr. was no pushover either. While ST has read about the Wolfman, to this day he has never seen it. He wasn't afraid it would suck, but if the first two guys could pull off Drakey and Frankie, then Wolfie would not be too far ahead. You heard it, folks. You're listening to one of the few people who are so scared of the movie that he hasn't seen it yet. It's that effective. While he hasn't seen it, he knows the plot by heart. The story begins with Larry Talbot, who went home to Wales to reconcile with his father John following the death of his brother. While there two things happen, he falls in love with Gwen Conliffe, the local girl who runs an antique shop. The second thing, he purchases a walking stick with a rather strange silver wolf-shaped handle. Both Gwen and the villagers express their belief in werewolves through a poem. Even a man who is pure as heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. Later that day, Larry rescues Gwen's friend Jenny from what looks like a wolf attack. He kills it, but is bitten in the process. He finds out from a gypsy that the wolf that bit him was a werewolf, and soon Larry will return. There we go. Now for the moment at last. Could it exist in real life? If anybody's heard the Dracula theory on rabies and bloodlust, you'll know the same rules apply to the spread of werewolf epidemic through biting and scratching. As for the physical transformation and growth, that's a different story. First and foremost is the excessive hair. While odds are of it happening at a full moon is rare, there exists a real condition that shares similarities to Chaney's wolf form. This condition is known as hypertrichosis, a condition that involves abnormal hair growth around the face and sometimes the whole body. In fact, the layman term for this is werewolf syndrome. Second is the full moon. Whilst there has been no proof of anything regarding werewolves, there has been claimed that a full moon attributes with the problems in regard to mental health. The word lunatic is derived from the Latin term luna, for moon. This was later considered junk science, however, it's not all the way implausible. Many crazy acts have often been attributed to the belief that the moon was the cause rather than being the actual cause. The third is growth in height. This can happen. While the sun set, the moon is out, the tide raises to the moon's gravity, slightly pulling it up. However, water isn't the only thing. You may not know this, but whenever night hits you, you actually grow a few inches to a foot high. That's because the moon is slightly pulling you up while the earth is keeping your feet down. Last but not least is the primitive mindset. Well, I've already talked about rabies and bloodlust, however, that's only half the werewolf mythos. The other half is the mindset. During said transformation, the adrenaline rushes beyond human levels. But there's a price. Because the adrenaline rush and the senses are heightened to near superhuman levels, allowing said wolf to have strength and speed and a high sense of hearing and smell. However, the price paid is that the mind now listens to instinct alone, which causes the wolf to be very territorial. As shocking as it may seem, every attack Talbot ever inflicted was in self-defense. In his own mind, he was an animal, and everyone, including friends and foe and complete strangers, was invading his privacy. Like any territorial animal, they defend what's theirs. However, like real adrenaline, the rush wears off as the reasoning returns. This in turn causes him to be remorseful for his actions and fearful of what may do in the near future. Now for my final words on the matter. The poem was the most important part of the role of the Wolfman because it's said in the exact words that anyone can be a werewolf. It doesn't matter if we are good and we say our prayers at nights. Inside is an animal that was waiting to explode out of us. The question is how you handle yours. As usual, debate, argue, and oh my god, no, the blocks are gone. I can see the moon through the window. No.